Chapter 16. Continuation of the history of the Most Holy Child Mary in the Temple. The Lord prepares her for troubles, and Joachim, her father, dies. We left our sovereign princess, Most Holy Mary, passing the years of her childhood in the temple, while we made a diversion to speak of the virtues, gifts, and divine revelations, which she, a child in years, but an adult in supreme wisdom, received from the hand of the Most High, and which she put to practical use in her life. The Most Holy Child grew in age and grace before God and men, but always in such a proportion that zeal exceeded the powers of nature, and that grace was measured not by her age, but by the beneficent designs and high purposes of the divinity, whose impetuous currents sought their gathering place and resting place in this city of God. The Most High continued his gifts and favors, renewing every hour the marvels of his powerful arm, as if all its activity were reserved solely for Most Holy Mary. And so well did Her Majesty correspond in her tender age to this divine influx, that she filled the heart of the Lord with a perfect and adequate complacency, and all the angels of heaven with admiration. The celestial spirits were witnesses of something like a wonderful strife and competition between the Most High and the child princess. The divine power, in order to enrich her, daily drawing from his treasures new and old blessings reserved solely for the purest Mary. And she, as blessed earth, not only causing the seed of the divine word to sprout, and God's gifts and favors to yield fruit 100-fold, as was the case with the saints, but exciting the admiration of all the heavens that she, a tender child, should exceed in love, thanksgiving, in praise and all virtues, the highest and most ardent seraphim, without losing time, place, occasion, or any service, in which she did not practice the highest possible perfection. Even in the years of her tender infancy, it was noticeable that she understood the scriptures, and she spent much time in reading them. As she was full of wisdom, she conferred in her heart what she knew from the divine revelations made to her own self, with what is revealed to all men in the Holy Scriptures. And therefore, in her reading and private meditation, she sent up continual and fervent prayers and petitions for the redemption of the human race and for the incarnation of the Word. She read more ordinarily from the prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah and from the Psalms, because the mysteries of the Messiah and the law of grace are more plainly expressed and repeated in these writings. In addition to what she herself understood and comprehended, she extended her knowledge by asking deep and wonderful questions and proposing difficulties to the angels, and many times she spoke of the mystery of the humanity of the Word with incomparable tenderness, lovingly wondering that he was to become an infant, that he was to be born of a virgin mother, come to manhood as other men, suffer and die for all the children of Adam. In these conferences and questionings, the holy angels and seraphim gave their answers, illuminating her, confirming and inflaming her virginal heart with new ardors of divine love. But they always concealed from her her own most high dignity, although she many times offered herself in profoundest humility as a slave to the Lord and to the happy mother, whom he was to select for his birth into the world. At other times, interrogating the holy angels, she spoke full of admiration. "My princes and lords, is it possible that the Creator himself is to be born of a creature and shall call her mother? That the omnipotent and the infinite, he that has made the heavens and is not encompassed by them, should be enclosed in the womb of a woman, and should clothe himself with the limited human nature. He that vested in beauty the elements, the heavens, and the angels, is to become subject to suffering. Is it possible that there should be a woman endowed with our human nature who shall be so fortunate as to be able to call him son, who has made her out of nothing, and that she should be called mother by him, who is uncreated, and who created the whole universe? O unheard of wonder! If the author himself would not have declared it, how could earthly frailty conceive a thing so magnificent? O miracle of all his miracles! O happy eyes that shall see it, and happy times that shall merit it! To these sentiments and exclamations, the angels would on their part respond, explaining these divine sacraments in as far as they did not involve and affect her own self. Each of these high and ardent affections of humility in the child Mary was as one of those locks of the spouse, or darts of love, with which she so wounded the heart of God that, if it had not been befitting to wait until she had arrived at the competent and opportune age for conceiving and bringing forth the incarnate Word, his delight could not, according to our way of thinking, contain itself, and would have assumed humanity at once in her womb. But although she was fit for this mystery from her childhood, as far as merits and grace were concerned, he waited in order to conceal and disguise more effectively the sacraments of the Incarnation, and in order to protect and safeguard the honor of his most holy mother by postponing her virginal parturition to the age approaching that of married women. During this delay, the Lord, according to our concept, entertained himself with the affectionate discourses and love canticles of his daughter and spouse, who was soon to be the worthy mother of the divine Word. These canticles and hymns of our Queen and Lady, as has been shown to me by special enlightenment, were so many and so exalted that, if they were written, the Holy Church would possess many more than all the prophets and saints have left behind. For she has expressed and comprehended all that they have written, and, over and above, understood and expressed much more than they ever could attain. But the Most High has provided that the Church militant should possess abundantly sufficient material of that kind in the writings of the apostles and prophets, while his revelations to his most holy mother are preserved and written in his divine mind, afterwards to be made known to the triumphant Church, in as far as shall serve for the accidental glory of the blessed.